I'm Luigi Greenberg. Thanks for joining me on the first episode of Strange World. This is going to be a short video series of topics that are a little strange, as the name implies. For this first episode, we will be discussing the story of a very creepy doll that seemed to come alive, at least to one person. In order to promote Skeptical Robot's upcoming episode discussing the history of Annabelle the doll, I thought this would be a good opportunity to introduce the audience to another story about a different scary doll. But this doll isn't like Annabelle. This doll is actually a ventriloquist dummy. And if you're anything like me, you can find ventriloquist dummies to be pretty creepy. Well, this one definitely was creepy. But unlike Annabelle, there are no supernatural stories attached to this doll. In fact, nearly everything that you are going to hear about this creepy ventriloquist dummy has been verified and corroborated as true. So, sit back, relax, and let me tell you the story about Charlie McCarthy. I hope you like it.
If you've ever heard the name Candice Bergen, you probably know that she is an accomplished actress. While she is most widely known for her role as the titular character on the TV comedy Murphy Brown, she has actually had a successful and prolific career for nearly 6 decades. Her career is pretty remarkable, especially when you consider that she was able to forge her own path in show business in the shadow of her very famous father. Her father was a world-famous ventriloquist named Edgar Bergen. Edgar had many talents, but was most well known for his radio shows that aired between 1937 and 1956, in which he performed his ventriloquist act on the radio. While a ventriloquist act on the radio might seem odd today, it was what made Edgar a household name. Today, Edgar Bergen is considered to be the foremost pioneer of modern-day ventriloquism, and has even been described by the UNIMA. That is the Union Internationale de la Marionnette, which translated is the International Puppetry Association, as the quintessential ventriloquist of the 20th century. But even more famous than Edgar Bergen was the dummy that eventually became the most prominent part of Edgar's act. That dummy's name was Charlie McCarthy. Charlie played the part of a wisecracking, womanizing sidekick. Charlie McCarthy donned a black tuxedo, black top hat, and a monocle, an image that has since become iconic and even become the default wardrobe for anyone buying their first ventriloquist dummy. Edgar and Charlie were a famous celebrity duo. They were even once jokingly credited as having saved the world because, on the night of October 30th, 1938, when Orson Welles performed the infamous War of the Worlds radio play, which panicked so many listeners into believing that the world was being invaded by extraterrestrials, most of the American public had instead been listening to Edgar and Charlie and never heard Welles's play. Edgar and Charlie even expanded beyond radio into movies and even comics. Edgar was an eccentric man and was known to treat Charlie like a living, breathing human being. Edgar Bergen even raised his daughter Candice to believe that Charlie was Candice's older and more deserving brother. Here are a few interesting facts about the Bergens and Charlie McCarthy. In an interview with Vanity Fair magazine in 2016, Candice stated that her father was a very quiet and reserved man. However, when he would interact with Charlie McCarthy, his personality would become outlandish. Candice went on to further say that she was in several publicity photos that were taken to show the Bergen family, and that Charlie was always in the photos and was always depicted as a member of the family. She also said that she was frequently referred to as Charlie's sister and always felt like she had to compete with the dummy. And as a result, Candice said that her relationship with her father was not the best, because it seemed as if Charlie was more important to her father than she was. The Bergens lived in a mansion in Beverly Hills, California. Charlie had his own bedroom in the house, which was next to Candace's bedroom, but Charlie's bedroom was bigger than Candace's. Things like this would make Candace jealous, but she claims that she grew to appreciate Charlie and to love him as something special that her father created, especially since it brought so much joy to so many people. Candace claims that she spent her whole life seeking her father's approval, but sadly, she was forced to accept that she was never able to achieve it. Edgar passed away in September of 1978. In his will, he left $10,000 to Charlie, as well as funds to ensure that Charlie would be adequately maintained in order to continue performing. However, he left nothing to Candace. Despite the challenges of her very bizarre upbringing, Candace went on to make a name for herself and has had an amazing career. And Charlie McCarthy has since been put on display in the Smithsonian.
Ladies and gentlemen, that charming young lady in Edgar's act was his 18-year-old daughter, Candy. So look out for Candy.
Hello, Mr. Ryan.
Isn't she beautiful?
Well, thank you, Charlie.
Just my luck. She has to be my sister.
That's right, it sucks.